tired. What's up, y'all? Kick that off in the background. Ugh, no. Oh, it's interesting. Because I've been sleeping pretty well recently, especially with all the extra workouts and stuff. That's the first time my sleep schedule's properly fucked. And I ache. Without the sleep to regenerate the protein, or at least to conduct the protein synthesis during that way to rebuild muscle and rebuild cartilage and tendons and those sorts of things. Yeah, I ache. It's an interesting thing. Oh man, I'm tired. I'm fucking tired. Shoulder hurts too. Yes, I'm dumb. The key is to always sleep, right? Oh, I had rocking an ice pack right up too, but yeah. Oh, it was kind of a rough weekend too. I had the Ibutamoren and the MK66. Too many side effects. I had to let it go. So we're not playing with endogenous growth hormones anymore, so there's that. We're just gonna have to do this under test alone. But you know, right there. So the update for Project Kai officially is that in approximately 11 weeks, I've gained just about 11 pounds of lean muscle. So I'm gaining about a pound of muscle a week with my current macro plus test regimen. I hear a strict diet of chicken is supposed to help. I don't need a shit ton of chicken, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, cave. The clergyman killed people and raped people as well. I mean, what do you want? Human beings are shit. The church themselves raped and murdered. Like, just turn that around on him. Thank you, other. But yeah, I honestly, given my degraded state, I probably wouldn't even be engaging. Hey, RV. I'm just tired today. Just fucking tired. I got maybe 3 hours of decent sleep last night. Nah, Angie, I'll be by fall. I'll be in a position where I'm happy with it. Maybe. My core work is not going well. Just fucking fighting to get those core muscles back. Yeah, Duffy, I can't. For a number of reasons, but I just can't. Oh. So, yeah. Oh, just still cold. Oh. Yeah, exactly. So bunch of people shot, some shit's blowing up. Oh, those are two different statements, by the way. But a bunch of people shot over the weekend. Fucking 5 dead, 39 wounded in the U.S. over the weekend. 4 mass shootings. At present, there's a chemical plant on fire in Illinois, and they're just letting it burn. It's a like oil lubrication sort of production facility. Let's see if I can get a video of it. Here we go. Let's see.
Monitoring this.
Are we going to? Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about that. Show me the... There we go.
Tonight, evacuation order. Chen reported
At this chemical plant northwest of Chicago happened shortly after 7 a.m. It sent a huge ball of flames and thick black smoke into the air that could be seen as far as 100 miles away.
We stopped water operations at this point. We stopped suppression. We felt it was in our best interest to let this product burn off.
The chief says the fire could burn for several days. The plant
That's the
chemical
difference.
claims it's the largest manufacturer of grease products in the country, which are all burning. Investigators believe the air quality for now is safe.
Everyone can see the large plume of smoke, but I assure you that there is no danger at ground level at the plant.
Investigators are unsure how the fire got started, but said about 70 employees working at the time were able to escape uninjured.
We opened our back sliding glass door and just saw like the willows of smoke come across.
Businesses and residents within a mile of the fire had to be evacuated.
I wasn't that alarmed until more and more explosions started occurring, and you could now see lit fire material raining down.
Investigators from the Environmental Protection Agency tell CBS News they have a team conducting air monitoring at the site. In the meantime, local officials are advising people 3 miles around the plant to wear a mask while outdoors. Major?
Nancy Chen, thank you.
So that's happening right now. Yeah, they tried to put it out with water, et cetera, and so forth. Cave, you do this on a day that I had 3 hours of sleep, and I'm in pain. All right, cool. I see how it is. Duffy, by all accounts, Wither, we don't know. They don't know the origin of the fire yet. Some dumb. No, it hopefully won't. That's not the kind of high you want. Paper. Yeah. Communists never did anything with the churches, right? Communists. Let's face it. Maybe socialists. Well, after spamming a bunch of weird shit in chat, welcome. Hello. Okay, so paper. I don't honestly. Some days I may give a shit. Today I really don't. As far as I'm concerned, the experiments failed. Soviet, USSR, China. I mean, the experiments failed. They failed on a grand scale. So, I mean, retool, start over. Right? Like, apparently the factors considered weren't the correct factors considered. Blah, 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 blah. You know, retool it and start from scratch. No big deal. Maybe listen to Bakunin this time a little more. Go see the First International and Bakunin and Marx's interactions there. And, you know, have a conversation with them about it. Some of them I don't disagree with that about capitalism either. But the same argument could be made about capitalism as well. Start from scratch, retool, blah, blah, blah. Listen to the criticisms, revise, you know, move forward. Paper, I like that. I like that. Because what you don't understand is the historical context of the situation. The clergy were seen as valid targets for the Red Terror because of the terror that the clergy had wrought upon the region to start with. You have to understand, this is the remnants of the Catholic fucking Church in Spain. Remember? Spanish Inquisition? Anybody remember this shit? Yeah, it's a couple hundred years ago as far as they're concerned. But the fact of the matter is that there was a rampant distrust and hatred for the church from entire regions of Spain at the time. Now, am I justifying, raping and murdering people? No. But again, I answer it the same way for those sort of like anti-BLM and like racist chuds that come in here are like, well, how do you justify the destruction of private property? I don't justify anything for anyone. That's not my job in this world. But I will provide you historical context that you may not have. And so you have to understand the situation on the ground at the time. One, a lot of the fucking clergy and nuns were not on their team, so to speak, right? They were seen as literal active participants in in Franco's regime, as well as other political elements within the society at the time. You factor that in on top of the fact that the Spanish Catholic Church, the Spanish Church, had been up to levels of shitfuckery, the likes of which we still talk about today. All right, so you start to add all of this together, and you get a very angry populace. And that anger has targets that it's going to be directed at, one of which is the church. Should they maybe have not raped and murdered? Yeah, probably. But given historical context, given the history of mankind, capitalism, communism, anarchism, communalism, tribalism, it doesn't really matter which ism you're feudalism, it doesn't matter which ism you're operating under. This is pretty much human behavior. It has very little to do with anarchism or communism or capitalism or republicanism or monarchism or constitutional monarchism. What it actually has to do with is humans, right? It's not a failure of the system. It's a failure of just us as a species. And you could, human rage, exactly. You could make the exact same argument and criticism based on every single system that exists. Every single one. Including neoliberal hypercapitalism, or however you wish to define the current system. There's more human trafficking happening today. Chances are, I'd like to look at the statistics if anybody's gathered them, but we do know there's more human trafficking happening today. There's probably more organized rape and, sexual abuses happening today under this ism system as well. So that's the truth of the matter. So you're an authoritarian. Okay. I mean, I think you're wrong, and I think authoritarianism inevitably devolves, but at least you hold the position. Kaiser. El Canal de Fidel. Well, I mean, do you speak English, or is it just you're in a mood and you can't stop speaking Spanish? No puedo parar de hablar español. Soy genial. I cannot stop speaking Spanish, and soy genial. I'm great. I think. Great. Yeah. Given what the priests in the region had been doing for generations, Paper, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it took that long. Oh no, I know, paper. I'm just, given everything about the context of the situation at the time, I'm surprised somebody didn't prior to that. I mean, look at what the Catholic Church got up to in Ireland and in Canada and in Spain. Look at the cultural and literal genocides they committed. Look at the abuses committed by the nuns as well. You think just because they're women they were innocent or some shit? Knock it off with that patriarchal condescending mentality if you do. The nuns were just as guilty, if not more guilty, than the priests in a lot of those situations. You look at the pregnancy houses and shit like that they used to send unwed mothers to in Ireland, that they find hundreds of babies in the sewer underneath the school after they excavate. Look at the Canadian residential schools where they just found 215 bodies because of the church. Sure, some Western imperialism, but all of that was underpinned by the church for generations upon generations. That church was so fucking toxic, so abusive. They found even more. Holy shit. Not surprised. I'm surprised that they, honestly, I'm surprised it took that long. Justifying? No. But contextualizing, yes. Happy Puritan. I agree, but I also think that the nuns probably shouldn't have helped murder unwed mothers and shit like that too. I'm not saying two wrongs make a right here. All I'm saying is human beings are kind of crappy sometimes. And if you put a series of pressures on them, inevitably something's going to snap. And so you see this throughout all human history, even under authoritarian systems, by the way. There's no avoiding this. This is a consequence of your species, not of an ideology. Your species is kind of crap. And so whether you have an authoritarian system that tightly clamps down on things, or whether you have an individualistic system that allows for individual autonomy and free associations, either way, you're going to have bad actors. That's just how that works. The best thing you can do is design a system that takes that into account. That's the best thing you can do. But there's no real way around the fact that human beings are kind of rubbish. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with anarchism or capitalism or communism. The only thing that you can do is design a system that takes that into account and at least allows for a properly distributed topological layout or organizational modality, and maximize individual freedoms while also minimizing overlap or curtailments of individual freedoms by other individuals. So I'll raise all levels to the point where no one is overlapping another if necessary, unless necessary. This is about your best option at this point. But again, yeah, that's... Oh god, are we still doing the fucking Spanish? Yeah, sure. Why not, KJ? I got no problem with that. As long as you have no problems with including, Kronstadt in that same educational course, as well as, you don't mind including the time that Lenin literally artillery shelled the anarchist club of Moscow and machine gunned them when they tried to flee to the streets. As long as you don't mind including Mao's purges. Or the Russian, basically, genocidal elimination of indigenous communities throughout their region. As long as we're playing fair, as long as the ground is equal, I don't mind airing anarchists' laundry as long as we're airing everybody else's laundry. Like, let's talk about Bhopal, India, as far as capitalistic overreach and malfeasances that occur within the neoliberal systems, right? Involving Union Carbide and later Dow, right? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. But as long as we're playing fair. Again, I'm okay with context. What's your context, though? Genocide is good. They had it coming. That, I find tankies tend to do that sort of thing. Oh god. See? Right there. Just on cue, basically. Fucking got somebody defending Mao's purges. I don't think anybody's ever told a proper telling of communism. Nobody's ever told it. Mao's never told it. Stalin never told it. Lenin never told it. The U.S. certainly hasn't told it. Britain hasn't told it. Like, again, the same goes for anarchism. Probably the same goes for capitalism. Nobody's telling the actual contextually proper truth of the matter. But again, see Prussian regimentation system morphed into an educational system designed to create good button pushers and lever pullers. It's a different conversation entirely. Which, by the way, they were actively assisting the Nationals. Just so you know. That was the thing that was occurring. Oh, were you not here for the beginning, Karina? Yeah, I've had like maybe 3 hours of sleep. I'm sore. Because my body didn't have time to rebuild the muscle fibers as is necessary for what in the sort of situations that I'm doing. So yeah, I'm sore basically from head to toe. I am tired. I legitimately wondered if I was going to stream today. I was just like, man, I need to take today off. Yep, still refused the coffee drug. And I spent a bunch of money this morning, like a bunch of money. It's done. For better or for worse, it's done. There's no going back on that one, though I suppose. Both, Karina, both. Radio, basically, I finished off, I'm finishing off my my laser hair removal. I'm just doing it all. I'm doing full legs. I'm doing arms. I know you guys can't really see. I don't really have super hairy arms, but I'm doing arms, legs, in addition to the Brazilian and everything else, right? So, yeah. But it's not cheap. Extra large areas like your legs and arms, not super inexpensive. Let's just put it that way. I wasn't happy with the price, but I'm happy with the service. So, you know, it is what it is. Mine aren't terrible. Like, I mean, you can't even. Mine aren't terrible, but you know. I will be happy to get rid of the leg hair because I trim that and that sort of thing. I trim it back from time to time, and yeah, it'll be nice to get rid of that in addition to all the rest of it. So, oh yeah, Trotsky can go fuck himself with his stupid authoritarian vanguard bullshit. Yeah. But yeah, the neuropathy's not great either right now. Let me clear that. Angie, who'd you time out? For what? I mean, it was bound to happen. The violence against the clergy was bound to happen. Yeah. I think, oh, yeah, fuck him. It's fine, Angie. Timeout's fine. It was bound to happen. I think if you launched a civil war in Canada today, right now, like, let's just say fucking Quebec goes to war with the rest of Canada. Okay? I think you'd find that a lot of churches, a lot of remnants of the residential school system, and people who were known to have participated, even if they may be 80 and 90 years old now, would turn up dead, would turn up burned and beaten and or dead. I do. I'm surprised it took that long. Honestly, I'm surprised it made it to the Spanish Revolution, to the Civil War in Spain. That it got to that point. The South will rise again. We must secede from the Union. Please, for the love of God, secede. Again, radio. Yeah. I'm astounded that it took that long. And it wasn't all clergy members, by the way. It wasn't you can read Perrot's accounts, like literally Perrot's discussion of the Red Terror. And you can read the accounts. Not all members of clergy were targeted. It wasn't indiscriminate violence. The first targeting mechanism that was number one, exploitation of wealth within the community. Just like managers and overseas, like managers within factories were targeted as well. It was those that were seen to be exploiting their local communities or the state as a whole that were hugely targeted. So again, it's a fucking civil war. How else are you going to solve the problem? I mean, we could talk restorative or reparative justice, but it's, the Spanish Civil War. It's probably not a situation where you're going to sit down and do those sorts of things. And if you want to see anybody who's ever done that in the middle of a war, I mean, it's not really how it works. You're a problem. You're seen as exploiting the community. You're causing harm directly to us. You're taking food out of the mouths of our children at this point. Job done. Sucks, but it's truth. Yeah, we need a second frontal cortex for that. Kumbaya, yeah, with Kumbaya or however it's spelled. I mean, we can talk restorative justice, but probably not in the middle of a bloody civil war. Or how Mao treated indigenous, or the Han ethnic group in China continues to treat ethnic minorities, or how Stalin treated in northern indigenous communities as well, or how Britain treated indigenous communities as well, or how America treated. You notice a pattern here? right? It's almost like this is a human thing and not a poli-sci thing. It's funny. It's funny how that works. Yeah. This really isn't a question that you have for anarchism. This isn't about anarchism. You're asking, why are human beings mean to each other? Which is a whole different question. Hey, Gaffadol. Boss, how did tankies exist? Western isolationism, suburban alienation. Yeah. Oh my God. You say it's a human being thing. Name one Posadist worker. Hey, himself. Thank you for the resub. I think people are mean to each other because of our reward system. You mean the dopamine reward system, or like an endocrinological reward system, or some other method? Cave's got it pretty much as to how tankies exist. I've unironically heard tankies defend Hitler. I'm not kidding. I've witnessed it for myself. That, well, the statement that was made was, well, at least Hitler was anti-America and anti-Britain. Really? Come on. Cave, probably. Probably Cave. The cleansing of the temple actually happens multiple times. Hi. My name's Kai, and I'm and I'm a ordained minister. The cleansing of the temple actually happens multiple times. It's one of my favorite stories, and I've written an essay about it before. But it actually, the cleansing of the temple is told in 4 different chapters, all 4 primary gospels, and there's 2 different occurrences of the cleansing of the temple. It's not just a one-time off or one-off thing. And most people don't remember the entirety of the cleansing of the temple. It isn't just the moneylenders he goes after. It is the people selling things. It is capitalism. He also creates a no-sale zone around the temple that causes commercial traffic to be pushed away from the temple, which is likely one of the reasons, if the story is true, which is one of the reasons that he was dead within a week of the second cleansing of the temple tale. Yeah. Hey, Zero. But yeah, I quite enjoy it. And if you want to read the cleansing of the temple, by all means, Mark 21:12-17, Mark 11:11-15, 19, Luke 19, chapter 19, verses 45-48, and John chapter 2, 13-16. Smart ass with her. Like it. And by the way, those revolting against the church generally weren't considered Christians anyway. They were generally excommunicated by the church and seen as non-believers. You know. Well, no, he wasn't black. He was Middle Eastern. He was definitely swarthy. And but he looked like a really dark Jew. This is what you're looking for. If you want to know what Jesus looked like, he looked like a Jew from the Middle East. They're pretty dark Jew. That's all. Curly hair, lambs of sheep's, yeah. Yeah, it's just a swarthy Jew. That's what Jesus looked like. I'm sorry, white people. He's not your long hair, blue-eyed, fucking like 8-pack on the crucifix Jesus. It's just sorry. It doesn't line up with. Oh, Angie. Let's see. Okay, so you're not let me see. Edit the triggers. Edit commands. Give me 1 sec. Edit Twitch triggers. Okay. Done. Now you should be able to use it, Angie. My family had the pleasure of being excommunicated twice. Interesting. It won't pop for you. All right, let me try it.
Isn't that corrupt?
All right, so edit Twitch triggers. Let me pull some of these. Try it now, Angie. Oh. Hey, Maniac. Interesting. It doesn't like you, Angie. Somebody else who isn't Angie, try this. And not mod. Just somebody try exclamation corrupt in chat. Okay. Jesus Christ. All right.
Isn't that corrupt?
Who's popped? Oh, Publix popped, I bet. All right. So I'm going to have to reset that. I am Jesus. Jesus. Yeah. Chuck E. Cheese's. So yeah. Anyway. Wasn't 7th already? Whatever. You want one, Radio? Oh, yeah, Radio. You want one? Like, I literally just hand them out to anybody who asks that has been here for a little bit. Just, let's see. Community, roles, add. Yeah, sure. God damn it, chat. Stop fucking scrolling on me. There we go. Let's see. Somebody else asked. Voss, that's who asked. Can't keep up. No. new. Exactly. There you go. Like I said, I just fucking hand them out. Paper, don't know. I mean, like you've seen, people literally refer people to me when they have questions. I'm credited with de-radicalizing one of the larger former tanky streamers. Yeah. Left Twitch knows about me. Right, yeah. Are you Australian, Paper? Are you one of the Aussie contingent? Yep, I got to Maniac, you're already done. I'm not gonna name them unless they name themselves. But yeah, they've credited me before. So, you live in Germany. Oh, interesting. Based shit is based. And yeah, I got my hands on Aristocracy. Though Aristocracy is something else entirely. I would have to have further conversations with Eris, but Eris Eris thinks well of the anarchists, in part, due to her encounter with me. Anarchist leaning liberal. All right. Yeah, right. If I could derad Has, I would, honestly, I'd fucking do the talk show circuit on that one. I'd be like, all right, Destiny, you need to interview me now. Like, you need to talk to me. I fucking talked that psycho down. Right? Like, that's fucking, that goes on your resume as a streamer. If you talk Has out of communism, all right, credit where credit's due. Is he still, is it permanent banned? Like, is he actually banned or is he just suspended at present? Because last I heard, he had caught a 30-day suspension. Banned has a certain permanence to the terminology. Yeah, so 30-day suspension is over. Yeah. The guy's fucking batshit insane, by the way. He's batshit insane. I've pulled no punches in that regard. Really? It's gibberish by and large. Yeah, it's Numa in Romanian, right, Cave? But can we refrain from putting giant blocks of text that, the song is Romanian? Is it really? I had no idea. Yeah, can we refrain from that? Like, giant blocks of fucking, non-English text. I'm a constitutionalist, but I listen to you because you nor your chatter in my face. I disagree with some of y'all's beliefs, but appreciate your point of view. Look, Curly, It's highly unlikely that anarchists will be getting their way anytime soon, but all I want is a seat at the table. That's all. That's all I'm after. I'm after a seat at the table. When we sit down and discuss info, would you buy? If I can't moderate chat because I can't read chat, because I have to be continually translating chat, then it makes it a problem for TOS reasons. Plain and simple. If and when we actually sit down, Charlie, and have the discussion about, all right, what comes after capitalism? What comes after whatever this shit fuckery that we're doing now is? On a global scale, on a regional scale, on a local scale, you know, take your pick. I just want an anarchist at the table. That's all. I just want somebody to actually hear us out and be like, oh, hey, you know, maybe they actually are kind of reasonable and they have some really good ideas. So, that's all I'm after. I just want like 10 naps. I don't care about politics anymore. Stray, I feel you on that one. I'm probably after this stream, I'm probably gonna have, wait, what did you... All right, info. I missed your message. Let me go back. Oh, you built some furniture. Okay. What kind of furniture would you build? Yeah, I'm probably gonna make a really heavy meal. That way I just pass the fuck out afterwards. Just patio stuff. Rook on though. No RV, but I'm not terribly surprised. If you want to throw it my direction, by all means. Chair and table and second chair on the way. Rock on, info. I love a good woodworker. Carpentry is fun. What will I be Vitamixing today? No, it'll probably be, I think tonight I'm going to do a bunch of like fried scallops or something like that. Okay, of course, it's going down, got it. Cool. Oh, let's see, who's, oh, fucking, of course. Yeah. So literally the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies who published that RV is literally known as a hawkish neocon think tank. Zealot, thank you for the resub. 6 months. Look at you rocking the green. Yeah. The FDD is notoriously neocon. So, you know, imagine that. They had something bad, negative to say about anarchists. I can't imagine why. Have I considered Vitamixing the scallop shells, though? Jesus. Is Neil deGrasse Tyson a bro lib? I mean, I guess. Sell it. Oh, I would trade you for that rain. I would trade you for that fucking rain. Hey, Zippy. Thank you. I was considering doing it. Yeah. How are you tonight, Zippy? It's much appreciated, Rain. Yeah, I would gladly trade you for some of that rain. We're hoping for some monsoon season action in this part of the world due to our mega drought. Yeah, it's a whole fucking thing right now for us. Sure, I'm sure climate change isn't real, right? That's definitely a thing I heard from, like, I don't know, Donald Trump or something. Dude, I think we're running about like 37% capacity at Lake Mead right now. And if you're not aware, Lake Mead is the body of water behind Hoover Dam. We're running about like 37% capacity, I think. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. We haven't had, Lake Mead hasn't been refilled since the year 2000. All right. Lake Mead hasn't hit capacity for 21 years now. It's just, this region is dying. This region is dying. Yeah. So, about Sam Harris. My boss uses Sam's podcast as a way to empower his politics over ours and doesn't respect that his influencing others always has power imbalance involved. Well, you can either talk to him about it or you can just undermine it. Luckily, the world's population is almost all non-coastal. I remember hearing that radio. Yeah, I remember hearing something about that. Oh, no, Caboose. I mean, I'm planning on getting out of this area within the next year or so. Like, that's the plan, at least. Plans change, shit happens. So don't hold my feet to the fire on that one. But, yeah. And, of course... Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. I mean, we're revising our water usage rules and regulations for the area. No, Karina, I don't. Wither, I'm looking actually, yeah, we can pull up current photos. We have, we have automated systems for this. It's not doing well. It's not doing well.
Isn't that corrupt?
So I bet that triggered.
Isn't that corrupt?
Okay. So I think I know what was the problem was. All right, cool. And if you want to see a photo, interesting. And yet,
Isn't that corrupt?
Interesting. I'm gonna work on that. Let's see. Where is? Oh yeah, here's one of the docks. Oh, this is old. Do we have one of the webcams up right now? Yeah, this is all from, I mean, here's, you can sort of see, this is what we call the bathtub ring. This is where the water level should be. Yeah. They've recently installed new turbine blades in the generators or turbine housing. That lowered the level that they could achieve water circulation by 100 feet. They just got done changing those out towards the end of last year. And so that's, yeah. It's not going well. Let's just put it that way. Here, you can sort of see... Hey, Pitch. All right, so all of this dirt that you see in front of you should be accessible. That shouldn't be dirt. That should be underwater. Yeah. Yeah, and it is. It's only going to get worse. Like, I mean... As you can see, just wee sliding right off the chart. Oh yeah. Yes, farming is going to be brutal. The first thing that happens, if the federal government does declare a water emergency in this area concerning the Colorado River, which will be the first time, by the way, if they do that, the prioritization schedule for water distribution, the first to get cut is farming. Agricultural access, ag access is the first that comes off the top. For Colorado water usage, or Colorado River water usage. So yeah, that's the first to go. Caboose is, oh Jesus Christ. Good luck with that, Caboose. I hope it maintains maintains containment. Yeah, so yes, it does, info. Or, well, yes, Karina. Yeah, we'll get it from Mexico, which the Southwest largely does to start with. No, Wither. Golf isn't the first to go. Hilariously enough, golf is not the first to go. No. Yeah, so they'll be doing well. Yeah. Yep, Australia. Yeah, and I mean, the Colorado River doesn't even reach the ocean anymore, in the dry season. It just trickles out, because we basically drain it before it even gets to Mexico now. Radio, it's not an insignificant amount. Las Vegas has a lot of golf courses. A lot. Yeah. we do use reclaimed water for the golf courses. From what I understand, the casinos for the fountains at the Bellagio and stuff like that all use like recycled, refiltered water that the casinos use, right? So it's second and third and fourth pass water being used for a lot of the like entertainment portions of Las Vegas. So when you see like photos of the Bellagio fountains running and stuff, honestly, that isn't that bad. The golf courses, though, we could get rid of. What would Western USA look like without water systems? It just wouldn't exist. Estrella. It's a not insignificant amount of grass. Las Vegas banned. We changed the rules on who's allowed to have non-productive grass. Medians and like those sort of front areas to communities and stuff like that are on the chopping block, but golf courses are still a-okay, as are private residences. But commercial centers, like building complexes and like shopping centers that have like grass patches and grass patches for like city road medians and stuff like that, all of those are going to have to go. Yeah. Honestly, I don't think you could get a proper... There's too many people that live on golf courses in Las Vegas to get a proper like golf course protest strike going, honestly. Yeah. It would be a difficult sell. I don't know. Oh, for God's sakes. There we go. So we have 58 golf courses that I can account for without doing even deeper dives. So Vegas has about 58 golf courses, somewhere in there. Yeah, well, China's gonna China, right? I mean, for sure. And Zealot, nice to see even ABC was covering the Friendly Jordies thing. Yeah. I'm all for taking it from Nestle. Yeah, that was definitely levels of shit fuckery. Seeing that video. Good luck with that one. For those of you who don't know, basically, there is a comedic news investigative journalist channel called Friendly Jordies that specializes in Australian government and politics. And they had one of their staff arrested by the counterterrorism task force. They raided his home. They fucking knocked his arthritic mother on the ground. They almost killed his dog. They arrested him basically for stalking the deputy PM of Australia, and it was absolutely absurd. Or is it New South Wales deputy PM? Either way, it's ABC 7 and 10 all did good coverage. Channel 9 though, and Murdoch and funded by Nationals are yet to release something, of course. Yeah, New South Wales. Okay, so it was the deputy PM of New South Wales, who literally called in the jackbooted secret police thugs to crack some skulls. They lied on all of their paperwork, on the police reports they filed. They fucking lied. They lied across the board because they had footage. Like, the dude had cell phone footage of the entire interaction. And yeah, but they literally called in a counterterrorism task force to threaten him. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, they arrested him and released him after the maximum amount of time that they could hold him for. And they charged him with a couple of counts of like stalking and harassment with the intent to, like, mental, physical, something. It's fucking bullshit charges. But they've put bail conditions on the guy that basically dictate he's not allowed to have anything to do with the Friendly Jordies production whatsoever. They're basically putting him out of a job. At the same time, he's not even allowed to possess a photo of the deputy PM of New South Wales, or else he's in violation of his bail conditions, and they will throw his ass in jail. Yeah, Estrella, that is actually true and spot on. Like, that's what I was saying about the Bellagio fountains. It's third and fourth and fifth pass water. It's the least of our worries. Residential makes up basically all of the water consumption in the Las Vegas Valley. Yeah. Yep, that is true, Zealot. Yep. Las Vegas exists because it was an Indian stopping, an Indian stop, or an indigenous. Sorry, the reason it's stuck in as Indian is because it's literally that's what the Mormons called it, was an Indian outpost. So Las Vegas used to be a spring. There's actually a spring, Spring Valley, in the middle of town, and that was a waylay station for indigenous tribes that would would transit through the region, right? It was a known spot. So Mormon settlers come along and establish an outpost there. And that becomes Indian Springs. All right, that's literally the name. It still holds that name, by the way. It's still called Indian Springs. And so that becomes a Mormon outpost. The Mormon outpost eventually becomes sort of a trading spot on the way transiting north, south, east to west. It becomes one of those hubs. So when they drove the railroad through the region, they literally put the tracks right next to the outpost because there was water there, and you needed water for trains, right? You needed them for the boilers. So the train tracks go through right past the past Indian Springs and past the outpost. And so it slowly but surely develops. But that's basically how there's a spring here. And anybody who used to transit and travel through this area and through this region in the old-timey Old West days, chances are they'd stop off here. And so that just fast forward, technological development, And then in the 1950s, Bugsy Siegel was looking for a place to establish a criminal racketeering enterprise centered around gambling, and created the Flamingo. And that was the first of the casinos here in Las Vegas, like proper. There had always been gambling here from the outpost days and stuff like that. But for what to be Las Vegas is then, Bugsy Siegel established the Flamingo, and the rest is history. for a foreigner, casinos are Vegas. It is true. I enjoyed that movie, Bugsy. Ah, good old Bugsy Siegel. Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, Zealot. Dude, that fucking video blew up. I mean, I saw like other like US-based YouTubers referencing it. It's, yeah. Dude, they called in a fucking terrorist strike force to deal with a Friendly Jordy's like employee. That was gonna make news. That was fucking ridiculous. Oh, yeah, of course. Of course it was. Oh. I swear, that deltoid, it just... I don't know. It just doesn't want to shape back up. I don't know what the fuck. My right deltoid is just sore a lot of the time. It's almost like cops just take orders. According to the video, according to Jordan, according to the fellow staff there, all of the like uniformed police officers were like good. They were embarrassed by what they were having to do in some instances. All of the reports from Friendly Jordy's, as far as the uniformed police officers of New South Wales, they all were respectful and behaved in a manner that is in accordance to Australian standards, what they would expect. The task force, though, the anti-terrorism task force, the secret police that they used, they were a whole other ballgame. Yeah, the jackbooted fucking thugs. For sure. They were a whole other level of fucked. Nice, Kaiser. Big Head, like, basically every day. I've got a personal trainer I see 2 times a week, and then all sorts of stuff on my own, but yes. Yes, because they could arrest you without a warrant, which is, by the way, a brilliant decision to make when you're setting up police structures in your country. Be sure to give one an exemption to the warranting and court processes. I'm sure that won't be abused whatsoever. Do you want like the technical details, or do you just want how water distribution would be? Do you want like market anarchism, or do you like, what are you looking for, Manmaker? You would literally have you would have some level of delegate representation interaction between the two colonies, and you would try to work out contractual levels. That's exactly how that would work. You would come to an agreement. But the difference is that if your delegates aren't actually in charge of the decision, they would be the interaction. They would be the interface for the two colonies. But ultimately, anarchism would utilize some level of direct democracy, whether it's whether it's ranked choice, approval, or consensus decision making. The community itself is going to have the final say as to whether they find these terms acceptable or not. Yeah. So what you would do is you would come together in some sort of shared space or agreed upon space. You would have an interaction of delegates, be they singular, be they multiple, whether you have environmental aspects or concerns, whether there's levels of expertise that you need to bring along into this conversation or not. Again, situational dependent, but what you would do is you would have groups of delegates interact between the two communities. They would see if they can't reach what they think is an amicable arrangement for the two. They would then bring that back to their communities. They would put it forward to them. there would be some sort of approval process that is undergone within the two communities. It would be ratified, and that would be the working arrangement between the two communities. And yeah, first step, don't live in a desert. As somebody who lives in Vegas. Manmaker asking questions in a mature fashion. Can we keep this one? They're not ours to keep, but if they wish to stay, they're more than welcome. Manmaker, I hope that answers your question. Would communities be able to interfere in others in another's affair in case of, say, a fascist takeover? Sam, usually not. Usually not. No, I want this shiny. Usually not. It's interventionism is not very anarchistic. There's an argument to be made. You could make the argument, and if you argue it successfully within your group, you could go from there. But interventionism isn't very big within anarchistic circles. Defense is, self-defense especially, and so it would be very much keeping an eye on the potential rise of fascist or authoritarian community within your operating space. That definitely would be something you would be keeping an eye on and you would be preparing for. Yeah, because authoritarianism is the number one threat to anarchism. Always has been, always will be. So, yeah. Karina, that's an argument that could hold sway. It's an argument that could hold sway. But again, people overlook the individual autonomy that is contained within anarchism, right? People overlook that even mutualist, even in social anarchist circles, it all comes back to inevitably the individual for the vote, for the consensus, for whatever. It all boils down to that singular nodal unit. And so when people ask like, well, how would this happen? I don't know. I don't know what the outcome would be. All I can tell you is the sort of parliamentarian processes that would be involved in that decision making. The decision is up to the people. And that's what anarchism is about. It's about empowering those individuals, giving them a lens of analysis, giving them a toolkit, giving them a methodology of organizing themselves, of arranging or organizational arrangements and interaction methodologies, tools that they can use to analyze those power dynamics that are constantly in shift, right? Like, this is the point of anarchism. And so I can't make predictive analyses as to what one particular group of anarchists may do over another particular group of anarchists. Is the community we're referencing a more social anarchist style community? Are they Proudhon and Kropotkin style mutualists? Or are they Stirner inspired individualists? Are they anti-civers in the vein of some of the, like Bob Black territory? Are they, what is the tonality of their milieu, right? Like, these are sort of prescriptive things that I can't give you in these sorts of situations. But what I can tell you is, if there was a conflict between two groups of anarchists, they would come together using a delegate system. And when they would try to hammer out details for towards the nature of resource usage or power dynamics or whatever they're attempting to do in that regard. So yeah. Yeah, well, Marcus, again, I won't, it's not that I won't, it's just in those style of questions, then you need to ask that question. Because my opinion versus what anarchism is and what it's about are two different things, right? To be perfectly honest, if I were in a community and upstream from us there was a bunch of slightly authoritarian leaning community who's seeing a rise of a sort of tendency, and they say we want to dam the river and deny you access to the water, well, I would advocate for conversation. Let's open a line of dialogue. But if that dialogue doesn't go anywhere, water is a human right. Right? Like, water is necessary to the survival of human beings. Shit gets real in those situations. Anarchism, communism, capitalism, fucking feudalism, tribalism, it doesn't fucking matter. You shut down a community's access to a shared water source, shit gets real. Yeah. It's actually both. I've seen some anarchistic pedagogy before. That's not that different from school. Very much structured learning environments sort of situation. But I've also seen a more free-form, naturalistic educational process put forth as well. And again, this would be up to the community. What educational system do you want to implement? How do you want it to look? Right? Like, this is what anarchism requires: actually informed participating, actually informed participants. Right? Like, that's what anarchism requires, is for people to be mildly educated on the topic at the very least, and to be active participants within their community. I think so, Sam. I do. I legitimately do. But coming from this sort of IT community and understanding, cybernetic theory and how distributed network topologies actually interact with one another, and how how an organizational topology can be dynamic and shift, I've got a little bit of a leg up in that regard. But I think some people are starting to come around in some ways. Let's just put it that way. That's true, Duck. It is true. I tell my community all the time, 50% of what an anarchist does is education. It's that simple. Oh, jeez. Why was that deleted? Wither? Wait, why is Wither a mod? When did that happen? Did I do that? It's the mod community. Yeah, Wither's in there too. When the fuck, Cat? When the fuck did this happen? What are my other mods? When did Wither become a mod? I made you a mod myself. I legitimately do not remember Wither. I legitimately don't remember. Ugh. Was I dealing with some fucking chuddery? Is that... 13 days ago. Jesus. All right. Well, congratulations with her. 13 days. 2 weeks. 2 weeks is, yeah, all right. Did you take, do you think that the kind of shift will happen through the current democratic system? Sam, probably not. Yeah, no, Sam. I don't expect that to occur. Yeah, Angie, I remember. Radio. I don't know. Let's see. Hang on. Let me pop something here. All right. Cool. I end up taking an ibuprofen before tomorrow's fucking training session at this rate. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wall Street eyes billions in Colorado's water. Oh, God. Because the commodification of drinking water is just... Yeah. Neon. It just reinforced it. I was led there by other means. There's also an argument that I heard from another anarchist last week that I was born an anarchist. It just took me 25 years to tear up the bullshit ideology that they paved it over with. My number wouldn't be 25. But, I mean, yeah, there is an argument to be made that you were born an anarchist and it was just a whole bunch of bullshit that got coded over it. That would be very much post-anarchism as far as philosophical belief goes. But no, tech just reinforced it. I was headed that direction one way or the other for a variety of reasons. But it seems to be who I am to a large degree. But yeah, technology gave me some of the tools to actually understand how it operates at a functional level. Yeah. I mean, I don't see capitalism claiming that you were born a capitalist. I'm sorry. To be fair, no, not all ideologies can make that claim or even attempt to make that claim. I mean, at least anarchism has a shot at making that claim. Communism has a shot at making that claim, maybe. Not maybe communism, but more communalism. It would be difficult for communism to make that claim. Do the whole classless, stateless thing. But yeah. Yeah, but greed isn't capitalism, right? It may be a component of, but that's, again, if somebody tried to make that argument, I'd fucking destroy it within a few seconds. It's a pretty shitty argument. I've heard that claim, and I think it was used to justify slavery. Public. Nice antinatalism there, Public. No? I mean, isn't he's the fucking, like, he's the Rwandan psychopath, right? Like, yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. There we go. Hey, Jordan Peterson. Thank you for the follow. Down with the baby class. Out with the bathwater. Oh, well, I mean, after Edie, it's not difficult to sell yourself as better than that. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, the RPF and shit like that. All right. Just finished my 5th meat meal of the day. Sweating pretty bad now. Fair enough, Jordan. Jordan. Well, Belgium doesn't exist anyway. It's not a real place. So that's really not an issue. New Zealand doesn't exist either. Let's see. Karina. Maybe. Neither does Australia. The flat earther taught me this. Oh, I'm sure Germany would take Belgium off your hands if you wanted. Yeah, oh yeah, Australia. I mean, if I were prone to the whole child thing, no. Australia, a story. Australia's a film lot in West Texas. I'd believe that. Except right now, I believe Australia is real just so I can be mad about the whole Friendly Jordies thing. Yeah, temporarily, Australia's been granted a temporary license of existence. So, just so I can be pissed about the whole Friendly Jordies thing. Karina. Hey, public. You still with us? Are you streaming tonight? Because Karina wants to get a game of Sea of Thieves going. And would like to invite you to the game. Whether she's done that or not already, I don't know, but I'm just doing it live on air because fuck it, why not? So if you're still here, public, almost certainly, okay, so almost certainly you'll be streaming. Okay, so Karina, maybe public won't be available, or maybe public wants to stream Sea of Thieves. Oh god, I don't know if you want to stream one of our Sea of Thieves sessions at public. I don't know if we can stay TOS. Hey, Puka. Yeah, Story Girl, I don't care if he is an arse hat who gets it as wrong as often as he gets it right. You don't raid somebody with the secret police and kick their fucking mom to the ground and almost kill their dog. Just saying. I'm sure that's not your point. Don't worry, but, you know, I really don't care how many times he gets it wrong or right. Don't roll out the secret police. You'll have to watch your language most of all. Look, I am who I am. This is why I don't stream games. Oh, public. Oh, bless your heart. Sweet, innocent summer child. Take care of yourself. You're welcome for the Polymatter stuff. I'm glad you learned about approval voting, because I'm sure that's where I sent you to Polymatters for, was approval voting. Take care of yourself. Sleep well. Well, no, not even Kaiser. The ones that Friendly Jordy's guy got sicked on him is probably a notch up from what you saw. It wasn't federal police, which is what you got. You got the federal police shit. They got the anti-terrorism, the counter-terrorism task force, right? Like, no identification, no, oh yeah. Yeah, like it was above and beyond what even you got. For sure. But sleep well, Neon. Take care of yourself. Sleep well. Somebody fucking asked a question. Who has the right to own and sell pineapples in an anarchist system? Anybody. Anybody. Again, you're asking Manmaker. Here's Manmaker. Here's the first thing you need to understand about anarchism. All right, anarchism is not a monolith. It isn't a monolithic philosophy. It's not an ideology, right? Like, this is the first thing you have to wrap your head around, is that it's a network of ideas. And in the words of Emma Goldman, we much prefer it that way, right? It's not utopian. It isn't a monolithic philosophy. So asking questions like, who has a right to own and sell pineapples in an anarchistic system? Social anarchism, individualistic anarchism. Is it Proudhon or Kropotkin inspired? Is it Stirner inspired? Are we doing non-market anarchism versus market anarchism? Are we doing direct democracy, or are we doing consensus decision making? All of these sorts of things start to come into play, right? And is it purely anarchistic, or is it a modified system? Are we talking about anarcho-syndicalist? Right? Are we talking anarcho-communalist? Are we talking anarcho-communist? Are we talking, these are the things that all come into play for that answer. There is no singular answer to that. It has often been said that there's as many different types of anarchism as there are people. I personally disagree with that statement, but the sentiment behind it still stands true. That the first core tenet of anarchism that you really need to understand is that it is about the empowerment of the individual. And then you sort of need to understand Foucault, the French philosopher, Foucaultian power dynamic analysis. And once you understand that, now you start to understand how it is a network of people made up of individuals, right? It's society, but it is... its base unit is the individual, where other social hierarchies such as communism don't actually utilize the individual as the core fundamental unit of the society. That the core prime unit is the social group itself. And so you start to take these sorts of things into account. And so it's, it depends. It depends what style of anarchists are running that community. What are their predilections? How have they decided to operate? There are market anarchists. There are non-market anarchists, right? Like, there are planned economy anarchists. There are non-planned economy anarchists. There are social anarchists. There are individualistic anarchists. So there are different schools and different veins of anarchism. As I've often said, it's a wide river with many contributing streams and tributaries, right? So to ask those sorts of boilerplate questions of anarchism, it's easy to answer that for communism usually, or capitalism, or constitutional monarchism, or republicanism, right? Like these sorts of things have stock answers for a lot of these things. But for anarchism, it's very much, how are you operating? How are you choosing to operate? How is your society? How are the reciprocal contracts and free associations that you've utilized as an individual autonomous being within your social group to establish these dynamics? What do those look like? How would you have them constructed? How would your social group construct them? What is the overall tonality of your milieu, your community, right? Like all of these things come into play. One of the favorite things that I like to say about anarchism is that there is no project of projects, meaning there's nothing beyond the project of anarchism for anarchists, right? I teach you anarchism. I give you these tools. I teach you these modalities of operation. I teach you about hierarchical organizational structure, and I teach you about consensus decision making. And I empower your individual autonomy to the point where you truly grasp it. My job's done. My job is done. Then it's your work. Anarchism requires educated participants in society. You don't get to rest on your laurels. You don't get to coast by. You have to actually participate to make it function as a system. Now, you could say that's a drawback or a downfall, but I would argue that's its strength. It's also one of the reasons that many people aren't ready for it yet. So, but yeah, those sorts of things need to be. Don't carry the boat after you cross the river. Fucking radio, love that. The questions need to be either way more hyper-specific, but you don't have an education within anarchistic theory to be able to ask those specific questions. And so the best I can do is help you along and say, there are many different types of anarchists. There are many different types of theory and praxis. And there are many different ways that people have chosen to engage or disengage in those power dynamics, in those relationships. And the answer is yes, usually. Like, do anarchists? Yes. Well, do they or don't? Yes. Right? Like, that's the thing. It's both of them. It's an inclusive or statement, usually. Oh, Karina. And Manmaker, you seem super good faith. If you want to come on air and have this chat, we can have this chat. So you can more directly, we can level the playing field and you can just ask me questions and we can converse back and forth. By all means, I'm open to that. It's up to you. No pressure. But I offer it nonetheless. Oh, Karina. Major power was a gift of I want to see what a major power as a gift economy. It was a gift economy, so I could see if how they interact with the rest of the world when it comes to something like GDP. Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to talk to like Swede and Rabbit simultaneously about that thing. Yeah, that's a conversation for both Swede and Rabbit simultaneously. Yeah, we have fun with the trolls. We have fun with the idiots. It's just, we have to for mental health reasons for ourselves. But yeah, when somebody comes in with good faith and just wants education, probably I like my community in this regard. Like, I think we do really good work in this regard. If you come in good faith and ask the types of questions you've been asking, Manmaker, we're very hospitable. So yeah, it's up to you though. Bingo going to be extra easy that day. Yes, and if y'all haven't been marking your bingo cards, remember there is a bingo command for your bingo card. Let's see. In fact, if you have been marking your bingo cards, let's see. Nope. I just generated a card and I have 6, what was that? 6, 8. I have 8 marked. I do not have bingo, but yeah. You got quintuple. Yeah, I know. I turned on the randomization the last time. Zippy, because why not? Community engagement, and it's been mentioned a bunch of times. So on Friday's stream, we actually created the bingo card, and there's the link. Yeah, Breen is your free space, just FYI. Manmaker, I'd love to have a conversation with the anarchists in your area. Let's just put it that way. I don't mean to no true Scotsman them, but we probably would. I would probably have very salient and pointed critiques. Oh, Seattle. All right, cool. Yeah, I need to fix that shit. Like, the corrupt command isn't that corrupt? Firing correctly. It's only firing for me. Maker, your anarchists are the origin of a lot of the issues that we have with the current iteration of media perception of anarchists, actually. So I'm more than familiar with your crew, actually. So I feel you on that one. Wait, did it?
Isn't that corrupt?
No. Just fires once. Yeah. I don't even know how that's possible. Because I've got, like, the main OBS feed on my fucking screen. How is that even...
Isn't that corrupt?
Alright. Hang on. Give me 1 sec. Okay. I think I know what's firing. Give me 1 sec.
Isn't that corrupt?
Interesting. All right. Side cam, not there. Browser, not there. BRB, not there. Full face, just Breen. Properties. Forgive me. full face. Corrupt.
Isn't that corrupt?
Advanced. Monitor off. All right. Jesus Christ, it's literally... Why is it not... That is weird as fuck.
Isn't that corrupt?
Hang on, let me check something.
Isn't that corrupt?
Now let me try it off a command.
Isn't that corrupt?
Okay. Now I just need to get the command to fire for the rest of you. Oh, what do you
Isn't
bet?
that corrupt?
Edit commands. Twitch triggers. Done. Done. All right.
Isn't that corrupt?
There you go.
Isn't that corrupt?
Why is Breen not in the list, though? Because now I don't hear it. Let me try something. Forgive me. We're doing this live, motherfuckers. We're doing this live.
Isn't that corrupt?
Corrupt. Monitor and output. Somebody try it.
Isn't that corrupt? Isn't that corrupt?
I mean, there was 2 firings there because of Caboose and himself. But... doubled audio. Okay. That means it is literally...
Isn't that corrupt?
Advanced audio. What the...
Isn't that corrupt?
There we go. All right. So I can't hear Breen. That's what happens. All right. It should be back to 1 play now. Somebody feel free to test it, but it should be back to 1 play now.
Isn't that corrupt?
I presume that was... Yeah. Yeah, okay. So it has to do with the mix down. I just don't get to hear Breen. That's all. I don't hear him in my ears. The monitor is being in the is part of the loop back. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, I have like Mix Minus available for the for it Caboose. I have Mix Minus available for it Caboose, but then it fucks up a whole other stuff. Oh, Cupcake. Solid work there. And yes, I've heard of the Sex Pistols. Oh, that was Wither. Okay, Wither. Okay. Get used to it, Maniac. That's definitely it's a thing. All right, Wither. I seem to recall you wanted the how to piss off Jesus. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. Yeah, and I mean, Maniac, I've got not only my bot, I've got Leorin board running side by side in addition to other stuff. You know, yeah, it's a whole fucking thing. Trust me. I may still change some of this shit out. All right. Nah. Just so you know, Sterner is like bleach in your potable water. All right, perfectly fine in like 5 parts per million. All right, just understand this as from an anarchist, right? Like Sterner is concentrated shit. So Sterner isn't I wouldn't consider him. He is a forefather of individualist anarchism, and you have to understand that. Like, he stands in direct contrast to somebody like Kropotkin or Proudhon, right? Like, this is... Just understand that Stirner is one of the 2 primary differentials between schools of anarchism, and he stands firmly on the extreme end of individualism. So just context for you. Just having issues with putting rubber to the road. I'll get back to that. The way I do is by asking how does something work in XYZ issues. Like you said, there's many stripes of the philosophy. I'm sort of hitting a wall because there's so much theory and not enough application. What application I've found is very small in scale and short in lifespan. All right, so Cospia lasted for 375 years. If you want to know more, Manmaker, Government of No One, Theory and Practice of Anarchism, Ruth Kinna. Good starting place. It's a solid starting place. It's not too big, but she's going to go through a bunch of shit for you. And if you want, like, Demanding the Impossible, A History of Anarchism by Peter Marshall. And if you've got regional specific questions, like, well, what about anarchism in Korea or anarchism in Latin America or, you know, those sorts of things, I've got recommendations for that. Peter Marshall is highly Eurocentric, and given the fact that you're studying Stirner anyway, it seems like you have no problems with Eurocentric anarchism. So, yeah. Demanding the Impossible, A History of Anarchism by Peter Marshall, or The Government of No One by Ruth Kinna, Kinna. These are your 2, like, Ruth especially will go a little more into, like, here's kind of what it looks like sort of territory. But here's the thing. 80% of people don't learn by theory. Just the truth. Most people learn by doing. And so you're going to have a gap to overcome. And given your predilection, or not predilection, but your hesitancy to engage within what I firmly will admit is a very antagonistic, anarchistic milieu, in Seattle. I understand, that you're not like looking for anarchistic spaces to engage in, that sort of thing. But by and large, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do it eventually. You're going to have to like seek out an anarchistic space, whether it's a workers' co-op or a coffee shop or a farm or a commune like Trumbullplex outside of Detroit. You're going to have to seek one out and actually engage, because most people don't learn by theory. 80% of people learn by doing. They learn by experience. And a lot of these concepts are very foreign to you. You were raised in a hierarchical society with like neo-capitalism and shit like that. Like it's a whole other ballgame. Your brain is going to have a lot of hurdles to overcome. Hierarchical organizational structure alone is going to send you into a fucking spiral usually, if you grow up in this sort of stuff. All right. Yeah. Maniac, yeah, I run Leorin board in addition to another bot. Like the Proudly Radical bot is also locally hosted as well. So, yeah. All right. So are the anarchist boys. Welcome. Oh, and also, because I'm doing book recommendations, everybody should have read this already. Just saying. Everybody should have read this already. Doesn't have anything to do with anarchism. Yes, I did Wither. I'm getting to it. Oh wow, it's down to like $23 on Amazon though. Yeah. Yeah. This one's lit. Yeah. Yeah. Anarchism has always been on the side of the marginalized. Always. When the labor movement, 1880 to 1920s, was there, fighting for children and oppressed immigrants and oppressed workers of the world, yeah, where do you think the anarchists were? When the women's suffrage movement was going, where do you think the fucking anarchists were? Right? When the civil rights movement kicked off, where do you think the fucking anarchists were? 2 of the Black Panthers are fucking anarchists, for Christ's sake. Right? Like, where do you think we were during Stonewall? Right there. Where do you think we are during indigenous protests to stop logging and stuff? We're right there. Right? Like, this is what anarchists do. So it's like, well, are any of them written by women? Of course they are. For fuck's sake, one of the most formative anarchists of last century was a woman, Emma Goldman. She's one of the baddest ass bitches to ever have lived. I would not fuck with Emma. She will put you down hard. Yeah. Like that's, you know, trans, gay, black, immigrant, woman. If you're oppressed, if you're marginalized, the anarchists are the ones who are going to fight for you. They're the ones who are going to show up. It's always been that way. You're at like rule 6 for radicals. Rock on. Anarchy animals are the cutest. All right. Wither did a redemption on the How to Piss Off Jesus essay. So we're going to read through this. It's going to take a few minutes. But understand, How to Piss Off Jesus is part of a trilogy of essays, of podcasts / essays that I did, leading up to and explaining dominionism in America today. Oof, turd. No. Honestly, no. And I don't know if you could do one well, to be perfectly honest. Turd, I don't know if you could. Like, a synopsis of this stuff isn't easy to do. There's too many avenues. Dude, trust me. I feel you. Emma's my people. I read an essay for a class once. I was like, I love her. It was a long time ago, but I remember her. Yeah, Emma's fucking... Emma and I would argue. Like, we would fight like cats and dogs. All right? She would have a lot of criticisms of my praxis. And I would have criticisms of hers. Trust me, we would fight like cats and dogs. But at the end of the day, I have mad respect for that woman, and I love her to death. All right, here we go. Get a drink. Here you go, Wither. The cleansing of the temple is one of the more famous tales of the Christian Bible, which tells the story of Jesus at his angriest, and is my personal favorite for a number of reasons. I mean, what could possibly drive the infamously peace-loving, forgiving, and magnanimous supposed savior of all mankind to a state in which he is flipping over tables and chasing people with a whip from a building? Money. Or rather, people valuing money over that which the building was to have symbolized. The story is so important to the narrative of Jesus that it occurs in all 4 canonical Gospels of the Bible: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. For those not learned in biblical topics, these are the Gospels which tell the story of Jesus' earthly life and the culmination of it all in his death and alleged resurrection. Bit about me. Now, it's at this outset that I should explain, if it wasn't already obvious, that I'm not a believer. I fully admit there are vestiges of historical events contained within, and I'm open to the idea that a Jesus may have existed, but I take a rather Jewish approach and treat that proposed person as just another man, not a demigod or a god. What I do believe is that scattered amongst the ruins of a system of control, excuses for the absolute worst of mankind's behavior, and general fucked upness are some truths that hold true even to today. But I'm firmly stating here and now that to take this compilation text, which finds its origins with Bronze Age shepherds, to be the literal word of God is not only folly, but downright destructive. Some context. While I'm not going to read the literal scripture for you, I will provide you with the chapters and verses from which this story comes so you can read it for yourselves. The important passages, and here we go. The important passages surrounding the cleansing of the temple saga can be found in Matthew chapter 21, verses 12 through 17, Mark chapter 11, verses 15 through 19, Luke chapter 19, verses 45 to 48, and John chapter 2, verses 13 to 16. The essential context for this story is that it occurs during Passover, a major Jewish holiday, which is one of the 3 major pilgrimage festivals of the Jewish faith, in which the entire population of the Kingdom of Judah was required, with a few notable exceptions, of course, to make a journey to the temple in Jerusalem for worship. This means that visitors from all over the ancient world would be present, which also means 2 things for the purposes of this story. 1, opportunities for sale, and 2, differing currencies. Jerusalem was packed by anyone's definition. The estimated numbers that are commonly used are between 300 and 400,000 pilgrims were present at the time, which makes for a significant opportunity to profit. Here we go. So, as the story goes, Jesus arrived to visit the temple, and what he found disturbed him greatly, to say the very least. He found its courtyard filled to the brim with livestock, merchants of all sorts, and money changers' tables. You see, the festival required a tithe to be given, and that tithe must be given in Jewish and Tyrian shekels. This provided the greatest opportunity for gain out of all of the ventures, as the money changers would take the Greek and Roman currency and provide a disadvantaged exchange rate plus a fee for services, allowing them to profit greatly off of the travelers who had little to no other option. He also found sellers of doves, sometimes written as pigeons. They're the same family of birds after all, columbidae. The doves and pigeons were used as a sacrifice by the poor, and especially women who could not afford more grand gestures of sacrifice of their faith. And if you think this is just a condemnation on the practice of cheating or profiting by a few, the temple also housed a large amount of money belonging to the wealthy, with which they would loan out to the poor with interest rates attached. One of the first acts of the first Jewish-Roman war was the burning of those debt archives. Jesus would have been fully aware of these practices as well at the time. This is where the story gets interesting. According to these tales, Jesus, upon finding the temple of his father had been desecrated proceeded to fashion a whip of cords, with which he used to begin driving out the sheep and oxen from the temple en masse, resulting in many of the people being chased out in the commotion as well. He took the coins of the money changers and poured them out, proceeding to turn over their tables one by one. He told the sellers of the sacrificial doves to take these things away from my father's house, and to do not make my father's house a house of trade. All right? It's not cheating. It's not profiting. It's the very act of commerce. It's the very act of capitalism that they were engaging in, or proto-capitalism that they were engaging in, that he took exception with. He cast them all out, all who dared to buy and sell within those hallowed halls, accusingly telling them that they had transformed a house of prayer into a den of thieves. In his moral equivalency, in Jesus' eyes, the practice of selling those doves, the practice of loaning that money at interest, the practice of changing money was that equivalent to thievery. It's the same in Jesus' eyes. Further outrage can be evidenced in Mark chapter 12, verse 40, and Luke chapter 20, verses 47, in which Jesus flat out accuses the temple authorities of thieving and making poor widows their victims. In Mark chapter 11, verse 6, he actually places an embargo upon anyone carrying any merchandise through the temple, disrupting nearly all local commerce. Now, biblical scholars and followers have discussed these supposed events ad nauseum over the millennia since these words were laid to bear, but most, based on various writings, have come to the conclusion that Jesus did this not once, but twice within the context of the biblical stories. Plus, it's also worth mentioning that Professor David Landry suggests that the importance of the episode is signaled by that within a week of the primary telling of the incident, Jesus was dead. The Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke agree with this summation in that his actions in the temple served as the trigger for his execution. So, why am I, an affirmed non-believer, telling this story? Because for better or for worse, I was born in and continue to live in a little country called America. In this country, we have ourselves an ever-increasing problem of evangelical so-called Christians. They are the money changers, merchants, and dove sellers of our modern age. They seek to falsely align themselves with a figure and philosophy they have no honest claim to, all the while actively harming and condemning to suffering those around them in Jesus' name. Starting at the most obvious and egregious sins of sins committed today, the prosperity theology, or sometimes called prosperity gospel, or seed faith, is horseshit. It's worse than horseshit, for at least horseshit can help fertilize crops. It's a plague unleashed upon the world by humans who have no soul, who would likely drown a baby for a buck. If you're not familiar with this particularly virulent brand of American pseudo-Christianity, then I commend you on your ability to effectively isolate yourself. It's a belief born of Protestantism that in essence states that financial and physical well-being are the will of God, and if you have them, then obviously you have been blessed and by extension are the recipient of God's approval. This odious belief system came to be born of the healing revivals of the 1950s, although some have linked its inception to the New Thought movement of the 19th century and a man by the name of Phineas Quimby. The New Thought movement held that God is everywhere, that true human selfhood is divine, and that sickness and poverty originates in the mind. And the healing revivals were a movement that began in 1946, giving rise to charismatic evangelists and the modern evangelical movement. It is in this era that you'll find the likes of Billy Graham and Oral Roberts begin to rise to power. In either case, I'm sure you can see how potentially dangerous and damaging such a train of thought could be. These toxic ideologies eventually came to be intertwined with and a mainstay of the word of faith, which is an evangelical idea started in the 1980s in, and of course, America, and quickly was spread to other places around the world. It holds that Christians can access the power of faith through speech, which allowed for it to easily and quickly contaminate radio, television, and eventually the internet. Now, it can easily be found throughout many denominations and Christian communities. These beliefs, which condemn and exploit the poor, disabled, and those suffering rather than an attempt to aid them as Jesus clearly instructed, became the swampy foundations for the likes of Oral Roberts, Billy Graham, Joel Osteen, Kenneth Copeland, and countless other so-called preachers and pastors to begin amassing ungodly fortunes and taking on the trappings of all that Jesus spoke and fought against. These false prophets fly on private jets, ride in Bentleys and Rolls Royces, and wear the finest of suits, all paid for by their religiously gullible marks. Let's get this straight. Jesus was definitely against the accumulation of wealth. He actively advocated for the rich to give away the entirety of their earnings. He hung around the poor, the sick, the downtrodden, and the social outcasts. Yet in today's world, so poisoned by capitalism, authoritarianism, and downright shameless hypocrisy, you commonly find people doing the very opposite of what Jesus would have had you do, all the while maintaining they are Christians. They condemn and judge their fellow humans. They give in to their greed and allow willful ignorance to blind them to the suffering they either cause or play a part in causing. The modern American so-called Christian not only openly supports the greed-laden capitalistic system they find themselves in, they vocally support it, and American imperialism both. It's one thing for anyone else to have these failings as a human. Yes, we should all strive to improve and to do less harm, but it's another thing entirely to classify yourself under the heading of Christian or follower of Christ and literally revel in such sins. If anyone at all should be the most supported, the most immersed in leftist politics, it should be Christians. They of all people should understand the philosophy of giving and sharing, of not taking too much, of not bowing to authoritarian measures, even in the face of extreme consequences. But instead, they've aligned themselves largely with the exact opposite. The greedy and prideful conservative movement. A group of people more concerned with their stock portfolio than a dying baby directly in front of them. There have been and will always be notable exceptions to this condemnation, of course. But the truth of the matter is that if you claim to be a Christian today, you need to take a deep look inside your heart and ask yourself, am I living in the manner of which Christ told me to do? Probably not. There you go, Wither. There's how to piss off Jesus. Marcus, I've got quite a few scholars that actually, one notable, but I mean, I've come across quite a few, including my own interpretation. It seems like it happened twice. But again, biblical interpretation is bullshit anyway, right? Like, it's made up. It's made up. But either way. Ooh. Forearm. Forearm's a little achy. Oh. What's that? Hey, nice. Where is it? It's oh Jesus Christ! It's still not. All right. Well, my Breen shirt is coming. My Breen shirt is shipped. Yeah, I mean, Cupcake, it's completely pointless. Radio, and yeah, I reference people to that to the old Greek version when they try and start that Leviticus bullshit with me. Yeah, here. I'll start with oh Jesus Christ, there's too many closures. Close that tab. There we go. Oh Jesus Christ, they're oh God, the Gnostics got their hands. All right. Oh, come on. There we go. Load. See, and here are the two differences. Fucking here is somebody running the 2. Here is somebody running the 1. And it all comes down to Gnostic interpretations. And honestly, there's a bunch of different ones. And you could even go to, like, what is it? Is Jesus Alive? Fucking website, which is brutal fucking Christian propaganda. Yeah. Oh, fuck me, that one's sore. Wither. None. Yes. Cupcake, yes. Leviticus is about a lot of stuff, but yeah, most commonly cited, man shall not lay with man as he does woman, is the Leviticus passage. But is a known mistranslation from the Greek arsenokotai. Arsenokotai refers to pederasty, not homosexuality, and you can cross-reference this mistranslation by using the old Germanic Bibles that predate the English language and forward translating their version. And what you find is that it also translates out to pederasty or pedophilia. So yeah, it's definitely Leviticus is that one. But Leviticus does a whole bunch of old-timey shit. Leviticus talks about how you can sell your daughter and how to, beat people to death, and it's not. The first book is kind of rough. The Old Testament is super, how shall we say, biblical. Manmaker, I already do suspensions. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, this isn't an impingement, which the definitely helps with, which I do have issues with. It's just a deltoid that's not healing correctly, probably because I'm not giving it enough time off and shit like that, but it is what it is, right? Thank you for the advice though. Yeah, you're new. I've got an entire fucking staff to take shit, man. I've got a personal trainer at a sports performance facility. I've got like massage therapists, and I've got the fucking gamut of shit. But info. I don't. All right, I warm up, but it's not about heart rate. It's more about flexibility than anything else. Basically, my workouts are when we do structured workouts with my coach, with my trainer. It's 4 stages of working out. It's the flexibility warm-up routine, foam rolling, stretching, these sorts of things. Now it is engagement of basic cardio utilizing movement functions. Think high steps while pushing a drag sled and things like that. Medicine ball being thrown against a wall to get the core warmed up, right? Underhanded tosses, these sorts of things. Then it is strength training, and then it is cardio conditioning at the final step. So after all of that, yeah, like that's literally how it works. So yeah, we're not shooting for a specific heart rate target zone in my workout procedures. What we're doing more is, I don't know how do I want to describe it, more of a holistic approach. But yeah. Marcus. Ian is definitely not my type. He is definitely not my type, for sure. He's vegan. Now, he is vegan. But no, he's not my type for different reasons. So yeah. Yeah, it's just a matter of how the workouts are designed, and that's what Ian is for. Ian is there to design my workouts for me, to make sure my form is on point, and to motivate. As he said, eventually I just become a cheerleader for some of these workouts. And that's what he's there for. If my form is on point, if I'm properly motivated, Ian's just there to fucking stand by my side and say shit like, good fucking job. That was a good set. That was the best set you've done yet. Come on. Push. You know, shit like that. But yeah. Here's because he's white, but fair. He's also kind of pudgy. He's also kind of pudgy. He's a Spartan. He's a Spartan racer. So he can survive with a little extra abdominal fat on him. He just has to be able to like pick the giant tire up and flip it, and you know, do all of the various obstacles and things. He's actually he's got a little bit of pudge on him, but it's that kind of pudge that underneath lies ridiculous strength. Yeah, it's like he doesn't need to be cut. It's not a need for him, so he doesn't cut. Why bother? I don't blame him, really. But yeah, his idea of a like a warm-up jog, I'm not kidding you. Like a warm-up for Ian is 2 hours of running. That's how he warms up. Is, you know, I'm just gonna go out for a quick jog. What's a quick jog, Ian? 2 hours. Of trail running, by the way, because he's a trail runner to boot. Like Spartan racing is trail running. So yeah, that's his idea of a warm-up, is 2 hours of fucking running up and down mountain trails and shit like that. Yeah. He's in good shape, despite the pudge. So let's see. I have high standards. I feel that. My fencing instructor used to make us play a regulation game of soccer as a warm-up before matches. Dude, fencers are insane. Fencers are actually insane. Just because I feel like poking at the tankies a little bit. Here's a picture. Here's a picture. This is a public execution during the Cultural Revolution in China. The man's crime was for feudal remnants and sodomy hooliganism. All right, this is what Mao's China actually looked like. This is what the Cultural Revolution looked like. All right, this man was put to death publicly for being gay. All right, so the next time one of these fucking tankies rolls out the whole progressive fucking agenda bullshit, just remember this picture. Remember the look on this man's face minutes before he is put to death for liking dick. All right, just saying. Just a little poke at the tankies because I've got a moment. Why not? What the I'm guessing you did that accidentally, Angie. Sorry, info. Yeah, Juche Gang can go fucking suck a wet one. They're adorable. Fucking they're fucking adorable. Monarchism with red aesthetics. Yeah, Juche can go fuck themselves. Honestly. Like, I mean, talk about like a unimportant group, right? Like, at least the communists have an argument like, hey, we impacted history. Like, Juche, you're just a member of a monarchical cult. Like, it's fucking weird. I will never quite understand the Juche people. Yeah. All hail our God Emperor, Kim Jong, whatever the fuck this one's name is gonna be, right? Like, he who scores 11 holes in one his first time golfing. Yeah, you're not in a cult at all. At all. That's totally normal. Yeah, totally normal. Yeah, America evil, so it's probably... Yeah, that's how a lot of these fucking Twitter leftists actually operate. That's their guiding principle in this life, it seems like, is America bad, therefore you good. Right? As long as you're just opposed to America in some way, shape, or form, you're good. Because America is just the worst that could ever be, right? I don't understand these people. They have no critical thinking skills whatsoever. Do not summon the Juche. Do not incur the wrath of the DMs. Oh, fuck them. My DMs are closed to these idiots. I mean, you know, you might as well be a Hoxiest at that point if you're gonna pick up a weird fucking, or be like that fourth political theory dude who comes through from time to time. Like, you know, hey, social democracy plus fascism plus Marxism equals fourth political theory. Like, what? Like, talk about a non-consistent ideology. At least it's interesting at that point. Fucking Juche. Juche is nothing more than like British imperialism with like Korean aesthetics. It's ridiculous. It's just a king. It's just a monarchy. Hey, Ancom. Did you... I'm okay with sending this, second... I'm okay with sending this second copy to you, Ancom, but you're going to need to send me, like, personal information. And if you don't want to do that, I understand, but I've I remember you spoke up wanting, okay, yeah, you're going to DM me your information and I'll mail it to you. You're in the US, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, then I'll just media mail it to you via USPS. Yeah, you send me your information and I'll mail it. I got punted from a Tanky stream where they were talking about the Uyghur thing, claiming to use... Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. If you roll out the term material dialectics, I'm going to roll my eyes to the point where I strain an optical muscle. Claiming to use material dialectics, but ending up doing the whole America bad, so China good thing. Yes, whether I do. I know where a bunch of my community members live through one way or another. You're lucky my OPSEC is good, motherfuckers. Yeah, I might have called them on their bullshit. Interesting. Fucking stalker. Hey, you're the one who fucking and my neighbor has in his backyard a clearly identifiable object. Oh. Hey. Yeah, see? It's sore. It's not too pain. But it is sore. How do you get a refund on your sense of humor? Marcus, I don't know. I wouldn't trade mine in, though. Yeah, nobody knows where I am. Unless you read my name. And Maniac, dude, that cabin of yours is really nice. It literally means subject, by the way. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't think I knew that. I honestly don't think I knew that. I don't think I knew Juche actually means subject. That's fucking hilarious. What if I made my own ism? Yeah, Kvass, 100% you can do that. You can most assuredly do that. All right, just check something here. All right, cool. All right. Okay. Psycom. Cool. Got it. I will make that happen hopefully sometime this week. Wither, the same goes for you. I'm going to mail them both out at the same time. Yeah. Hopefully I can get it done this week. I've got a bunch of reasons to leave my house this week. So hopefully I will actually go by the post office during one of those. How am I excited? How excited am I for Trump 2024? Hugely, actually. I think it will be hilarious. For sure. I think it'll be all kinds of hilarious. Yeah. Or really a catastrophe. Either way, it makes for interesting historical analysis. Right? Like that's the thing is, even if say Trump wins in 2024, imagine if he actually runs for office and he wins in 2024. All right. Just, I know you're like, oh, that can't, but he won the first time. Take a moment to think about what an ousted Donald Trump would look like when he comes back to office. Oh yeah. Shit would get real. You said never gonna happen. Manmaker, I remember a lot of fucking people saying Donald Trump could never be president. Never gonna happen. Can't happen. Can't happen. It just can't. It's a fucking joke. There's no fucking way Donald Trump's ever gonna be president. Yeah. Absolute statements like always and never are some of the most dangerous statements one can make. Pupperism. Nice. I Caboose, again, I highly doubt he could. I highly doubt he could. Well, you're right. 2014 is never going to happen. You are dead on with that one, Manmaker. Nope, I'm not letting you have it now. Sorry, I beat you to the typo in the fix. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm not saying never. It's highly unlikely, but he won once. All right, I'm just saying, don't ever in your future political practices ever count this shit out again. All right? We made that mistake as a fucking country once. All right? We were like, "Oh, he's nothing. We're just going to ignore him and make a joke about him." And holy shit, what have we done? Saying never causes you to rest on your laurels. It makes you not take something into account because it's not a possibility. It doesn't need accounted for. There's still 30% of this population, which is many, many millions of people, who firmly support that man to some extent or another. Just saying, it's something to remember. And maybe it isn't Trump. Maybe it's not Donnie. But remember, the same people that put Donald Trump into office still exist. They still are out there. And for those of you who are around for the Peter Zeihan video analyzing the political groups as they exist today, who's actually aligned with who, that formed the Democratic base and the Republican base, there was a tectonic shift in who makes up those groups. And the populists are one of the largest gains that the Republicans have ever seen in contemporary history, right? And the populists are still pissed. They're still out there. They're still very angry that Biden, a globalist, is in office. Just saying, never forget. Cruz Gates 2024. Love it. Love it. Super cursed. Super cursed. Who did I say the most fascist president we've had? Wilson wasn't a peach, for sure. Especially if you take like the corporatism angle of fascism, like classical Italian fascism. Wilson needs name checked. He's not going to be the most, but Radio was there with me on Wilson. God, he's the one that sprung to mind. Fascist. All right, hang on. Where's all right. I just wanted that link really quickly. Tradition, modernism, action for action's sake, disagreement is treason, fear of difference, appeal to social frustration, obsession with a plot, enemy is both strong and weak, pacifism is trafficking with the enemy, contempt for the weak, everyone is educated to become a hero, machismo and weaponry, selective populism, and newspeak. Bush and Trump have to be name checked. Reagan, Bush, all of the modern ones have to be name checked. Everybody forward from Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump have to be name checked. Obama's way better, like way less in some of these categories than the others, But yeah, Jackson didn't have a rejection of modernism. There's some traditionalism in there. He wasn't very much action for action's sake. He had a reason for his action, as much of that reason is wrong. He didn't have a huge contempt for the weak. He definitely had the machismo and weaponry. He had the selective populism. He didn't have the newspeak either. He was wild. Don't get me wrong. If you wanted to talk authoritarianism, because you asked fascist, all right, and fascism is a form of authoritarianism, but authoritarianism isn't necessarily always fascist. And I prefer to use Umberto Eco's 14 characteristics of fascism to better whittle down and isolate what we mean by fascism. And if that is the rubric by which I am judging presidents, then Jackson doesn't actually come out with more. Yeah, you need to read 1984 with her. Go read some Eric Blair, aka George Orwell. You need to read 1984, but newspeak. Yeah. Yeah, all of the recent ones get name checked. They have to be. Yeah. I mean, which Roosevelt or both of them? Teddy or Franklin? I mean, wait. I do, Story. I do. It's personal preference. I mean, I wouldn't really argue with somebody over it. Frankie, he gave us the super secret police. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, it's not something I would literally argue with somebody over, Story, but I prefer Umberto's definitional set for sure. Just personal preference at the end of the day, I suppose. Since, I mean, we're not talking like Italian fascism, right? See, Story, I like that actually. I'm a Fate Core player. My tabletop system of choice is Fate Core, which works in abstracts. I'm schooled in cybernetic theory, so I use abstract network topological formats to understand political science topics, right? Like, I'm comfortable working abstract to non-abstract. So that's, it may just work for me. Some people need like concrete examples, but for me, it works better in the abstract. And then I can sort of, does this fit into this? Does it, you've got a space, you've got the abstract space, and you take something, you put it, does it fit? Yeah, it fits. All right, cool. My brain works that way. So some people need the more concrete, and I understand that. But for my purposes, yeah, I default to Umberto's definitional set for sure. By the way, I just want to mention, we just got rid of like 15 people by talking about fascism and American presidents who may be the most fascist. We just got rid of like 15 people. Like 12, maybe, something like that. By talking, like literally by doing a rundown of which American presidents might be the most fascist. I love watching metrics like that. it's always hilarious to see what drives a bunch of people out simultaneously. And we just got like 5 new people. Interesting. Fucking weird. Kai works with amorphous puzzles, unlike analytical minds who like defined puzzles. Yeah, and I like Brit for the ease of consumption for less knowledgeable audiences. Story, I appreciate that. I'm quite proud of the fact that I run a space that requires people to, like, look, we'll explain stuff. I will educate, we will educate, the community will educate, we'll catch you up to speed if need be. But I like running a space that requires people to rise to a certain level, rather than doing like the rudimentary or, rudimentary educational stuff. I enjoy running that kind of space. I do. That's just me. Different praxis for different places. All right, so most media and news media pushes left-leaning ideals. I'm sorry. Since when? I mean, they'll... Oh, yeah, for sure, Story. For sure. That's an entirely different fucking ball of wax. Marcus, yeah, actually, give me 1 sec. I've got some stuff for you. You want some, like, cheesy old, like, 70s horror movies and stuff like that? Because I got some stuff for you. Switch accounts. That one. History. There we go. Go with Food of the Gods. Go with the Food of the Gods. It's a cult favorite made by Bertie Gordon, Bert I. Gordon. But yeah, there's like giant wasps and rats and chickens. Yes, giant chickens and shit like that. It is gory, but like 70s gore and shit like that. Yeah. It's bad and good at the same time. You should enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. Story Girl. Wow, it's almost like mainstream media isn't owned by the billionaire class. Yeah, the Food of the Gods. It's, let me see if I can, hang on. It's out there. The Food of the Gods. Just go looking. It's out there. Catch you later, Marcus. Sleep well. Yes, giant chickens. Billionaire. Wolf of Wall Street. Fucking, what was it? I mean, Jesus Christ. Fucking. What is the fucking movie that, Wall Street. Yeah, there we go. Wall Street with fucking what's his name is Gordon Gekko. Hang on. Oh, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. Fucking Ghostbusters. Fucking Ghostbusters. Go back and watch Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is literally a libertarian screed. I'm not kidding you. Go back and watch Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. It's literally a libertarian manifesto. 100%. Yeah, it's literally like a libertarian screed. It's absolutely insane to go back and watch Ghostbusters and be like, this is libertarianism. Risky Business, Blow, all pro-capitalism as well. Jesus Christ. I need to get a list of my movies here. Compassionate Capitalism would be It's Wonderful Life. Let's see, what else? Let me get my fucking... Oh God, The Iron Lady, The Grapes of... No, well, Thank You for Smoking, The Corporation, let's see, Pretty Woman, even, depending on how you analyze and you look at that sort of thing. Yep. Fucking RoboCop. The Housewives of whatever. Thank You for Smoking is funny. Sassy, Thank You for Smoking is one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 10. Dude, Aaron Eckhart does a wonderful job in it. The script is amazing. There's so many brilliant scenes in it. The scene where he teaches his son about bullshitting on a school essay about how America is the best country in the world. Like, that is one of the best scenes probably ever put down for modern America. That will teach you so fucking much about the educational system, about how you interact with it, about propagandization and how to undermine it. Cupcake, maybe not. I don't, dude, it's been years since I saw RoboCop. Jason Bourne, any of the Tom Clancy movies are pro-capitalism, pro-imperialism, pro-American expansionism, pro-police state. Mission Impossible, basically. James Bond, any of the action movies. Where would I place Ferris Bueller's Day Off on the political spectrum? See, that's the thing. The movie as a whole is taken differently than individual character arcs during the movie. As a whole, though, ditch school, expropriation, conning restaurants. It's not necessarily... It's egoist. Oh God, it's egoist. It's egoist. 100%. Yeah. Cameron... If it's going to be anarchistic leaning, it's sterner. It's individualist. Ferris is out for himself. Ferris is out for himself. Cameron is seeking individual approval from his friend group. Okay. So yeah, it's going to be individualist. It's going to be egoist for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I would place it. Oh, Mary Poppins, by the way. Banking. Remember the banking scenes and the talk of confidence in the markets and how fundamental like these are core tenets within capitalistic markets, right? And it is in support of, right? There's a little bit of a critique in there, but it's not to the degree that it would ever be considered left leaning. Yeah, I mean, it literally goes into fiduciary responsibility, confidence in markets. Like, this is a lesson in fundamentals of capitalism. Yeah, oh yeah, all of the Batman movies. Mitre is right. All of the Batman movies. Like, forget movies. Batman. Just Batman. Just Batman. Wait, how about the Chocolate Factory movie Willy Wonka? OG is libertarianism, for sure. Yeah. Definitely capitalistic, definitely libertarian, definitely small government. Get out of my business. If I want to if I want to like capture a bunch of like indigenous people from some far off land and throw them in my factory and make them work for me, then well, they're chattel property. Like, yeah. Jackson's The Hobbit, fucking right-leaning, restoration of legacy, racial supremacy tensions between dwarves and elves, wealth seeking on the dragon hoarding. Oh my god, dude, Snowpiercer next. Fucking Snowpiercer is just a libertarian nightmare dystopia. Like, it's not even libertarian at that point. That's not even libertarianism. That's, oh god, what would Snowpiercer be? Snowpiercer would be definitely authoritarianism. Definitely capture. It would almost be a caste system. Yeah, it's definitely it's a caste system. So yeah, Story Girl, like feudalism works as well. Yeah, for the categorization of that. Avatar does definitely have anti-capitalist sentiments. Yeah, it has critiques for sure. Yeah. But anything Marvel Avengers is basically pro-capitalism just due to the inclusion of Iron Man. That's... Without the billionaire tech mogul, most of the Avengers wouldn't be able to do what they did, right? Like, the underpinning storyline is that, look, Spider-Man's suit comes from capitalism, fucking the jets come from capitalism, the fucking all of that, you know. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Sleep Easy. Yeah, I am aware of that fan theory that Snowpiercer is actually the sequel to Willy Wonka. Jerry Maguire, show me the money. Fight Club is a whole other thing, Zealot. In fact, we even have a channel command for that. For those of you that didn't know, snowflake is actually the term of the pejorative snowflake used in a derogatory fashion finds its origin in Fight Club. It depends, Manmaker. It depends. Just because there's a gay person there doesn't make it left-leaning. I would invite you to have a discussion with log cabin Republicans. Just because there's, like, gay people doesn't make it left. It's just not how that works. Like, what is their experience with the ice cream shop? Are there, like, do they lament over the operating costs and how it, there's state regulations that impede their ability to start this business? Well, congratulations. You've got like Randian objectivism. You've got libertarianism going on there. Do they, it just sort of, it depends on the greater story. There's story. Like, I don't want to speak out of turn. The trans community has an issue with authoritarianism. I've noticed that. There's a lot of prescriptive people within the trans community. That's been an issue. I don't know what the deal with that is. There will be blood. Yep. Seen enough rainbow MAGA hats to know gay folks aren't drawing the political line. Yeah, it's just, that's not how it works. Snatch, damn it. Had a brain fart for a long time. Snatch is a good movie. I enjoy it. All right. I don't know how that happens. Yeah, story. It's weird how some of that shit happens. I'm sorry. Did you just say an anti-parasitic cures COVID? Ivermectin cures COVID. Yeah, casual. Armed and ratty. Ivermectin cures COVID. Ivermectin is an anti-parasitic that, by the way, is not recommended for use due to a number of reasons. But yeah, like scabies and lice and that sort of shit, like head lice and scabies and those sorts of things. It's primarily used in veterinary medicine. Yeah. I mean, there's one publication. There's one that talked about a potential 5-day course of ivermectin for the treatment of COVID, maybe reducing the duration of the illness. No, Wither, they are not. It was trialed one time in Bangladesh as to maybe possibly reducing the duration of COVID. I'm aware of one NIH study that was published utilizing ivermectin, and it was a Bangladeshi just field trial out of emergency desperation. Sunshine, yeah. Yeah, I've got both. Yeah, that's the one I had. I had both Modernas. So, yeah, that ivermectin cures COVID. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm with Caboose on that one. Can you hold yours up? Lame Pfizer gang right here. That Sunshine, that's going to be solely up to how your body responds. Some people get aches and pains and lethargy as a result of it. Some people don't. So you're just going to have to figure that out for yourself. Yeah. So, can I play the random statement game? Chuds are attention-seeking babies. There, I said it. Copy image address. Here. Came across this one. This was fun. I'm not giving out medical advice. What I can do is tell you that you should be referring to the FDA, the CDC, and the medical community, including the National Institute of Health, all of whom are not on board with this. The only people who have gone on board with this are the World Health Organization, and they explicitly said the only use for ivermectin within a COVID-19 treatment regimen is that within clinical studies only. All right? So, not medical advice, but according to the FDA, the CDC, National Institute of Health, and the WHO, you should not be using ivermectin to treat COVID. So, yeah. You probably shouldn't be using bleach injected into your veins either. Or Miracle Mineral Solution if that's one of yours as well. Expertise is not authority. Sleep easy. Expertise is not authority. All right? There's a clear distinction between authority and expertise. Always remember that. Oh god, Shungite. Oh, some colloidal silver himself. Yes, I too have seen Alex Jones. Oh, sleep easy. Oh, somebody already did it. Fucking himself beat you to the colloidal silver. Yep. Sunshine, yeah, you're just gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, oh yeah, colloidal silver idiots are still around. It's still a thing. Well, not in low doses, but over long periods of time in high doses, it can actually. Yeah. It's been a few years, Radio. Yeah, it's been a few years. Yeah. Expertise is not authority. There's a vast chasm of difference between those two terms. Yeah, no worries. Sunshine, the best thing I've heard, by the way, this is what worked for me. Plenty of water, and while the day of and the day after, I didn't really feel like I got kind of achy and my neuropathy kicked off. I did find when my arm was aching, I did find working out helped it. Getting the blood moving, like nothing huge. Like don't go for, PRs and stuff like that. But I did notice that just getting the blood flow moving, getting the muscle activated, underweight, under tension, these sorts of things, actually did help with the soreness. Yeah. Caboose, yeah, colloidal silver actually does have benefits. I am aware of its use within flushing lines, specifically dental offices and these sorts of things. Colloidal silver does have antimicrobial activity. And so it is used within certain spaces, but generally speaking, it isn't used very widely. There's other preferred sanitation and sterilization techniques and methods and substances above and beyond colloidal silver. Calcification of the amygdala. Dude, radio. Blast from the past. Story goal. I've had the first AstraZeneca shot. 0 symptoms. Rock on. I was a tiny bit dizzy, a little more tired than usual for a few days, and mild sore muscle in my arm. Other than that, I was fine after the J&J. I got the shot, and I did the 12-hour shift at the sawmill. Think that helped. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. You're making a medical statement about your antibody count and their activity within your body. I'd like to see your lab work, please. Do you have an immunological workup done? Or just talking out of your ass now? Do you have any quantifiable metrics by which you can actually measure that? So... Story girl. Post them. Go to Discord, put them in shared content. Chop chop. Put up or shut up. We're waiting. Oh, wait. I have a sound clip for this. Exclamation Discord, or the link is right below the window. Good countdown timer. Ah, yes. Those kudos to those that recognize where that's from. Anybody want to guess how fast I have to remove them from the server? Literally your favorite game show ever. Nice. Hey, Patronum, congratulations. Rock the fuck on. I find it almost always is. I'm glad you had an experience. I would love to hear more about it one day. Or now, whatever. But I would love to hear more about it. Karina, it's still on TV, but it's a British show. It's a British panel show. Pretty sure it's still on TV. They don't cancel those panel shows for shit. I agree. British panel shows are great. All right, duly noted. Yeah, British panel shows are fucking brilliant. Close that. Close that. Oh, come on. There we go. I thought it was Jeopardy. What is that? The weakest link? Yeah, no. Different show entirely. Is Clarkson still hosting Weakest Link or fucking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or whatever the fuck? I forget what he was showing. Whatever he was hosting. Yeah. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble. Cupcake. I don't care what the Wachowskis say. It's goddamn Cyber Jesus. It is Joseph Campbell's monomyth if it was literally written by Joseph Campbell himself. It is the definition of the hero's journey monomyth. It is Cyber Jesus. I'm sorry. It just is. I'm not letting them retcon that shit. Maybe that was always their personal interpretation. Maybe that's how they viewed the project that they were working on. Whether they intended to or not, they made Cyber Jesus. And that's the thing, is it could be both, but it's not just. And I don't hear that distinction ever made. I'm willing to make that distinction, but I don't hear that distinction often made. That it's about being trans. Maybe it's both, because they made Cyber Jesus. Like, for real Cyber Jesus. There's no way around to retcon that portion of the story. Yeah, it's definitely Hero's Journey. It's all Hero's Journey. Let's get that out of the way, right? It's all Hero's Journey. Has anybody ever told a story that isn't the Hero's Journey? It's all Hero's Journey, right? Just get that right out of the way. I started with some small amounts and kept stepping it up throughout Boombox's set. Guitarist for the duo is the son of two musicians from the dead. Nice! And that I'm okay with, Karina. I'm 100% okay with that. My problem always just comes from them trying to retcon it. That's where my issue comes, just as a writer. And also, oh God. Philosophy of art. Who gets to tell the story? Is it the author or those that interpret the story? Who owns the art at the end of the day once you release the art to the world? Different people have different answers to this. They're all perfectly acceptable, but it's also a valid line of inquiry. It may not be their position to actually take that position. Like, it may actually reasonably be argued that the Matrix is whatever whoever watches it sees it as, not what the creators intended it to be. And by the way, creators, they ripped off a lot of fucking people, which good artists borrow, great artists steal. Don't get me wrong. Not a criticism, but, you know, just a reality of the artistic process, as it were. So, also that. Oh! Maker, Neo was most assuredly pitching a philosophy. That movie required, to work on that movie, the Wachowskis required reams of philosophical reading. I'm not kidding you. They gave their actors like a fucking stack of books and said, understand this, you will be tested on it. I'm not joking here. There was a philosophy quiz to work on that project. Like, it is literally, that project is the definition of a philosophy given movie form. Yeah. Story Girl, I'm in that camp. I'm with you on that. Once you let the art into the world, job done. You don't have any control over it after that. It may have meaning to you, but the milieu, as it were, gets to decide what the meaning is. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Morpheus is John the Baptist. He's literally John the Baptist. There's also a Moses comparison to be made. But mostly John the Baptist. Yeah, it's Cyber Jesus. It just is. This very few disagree. Even the Christians agree it's Cyber Jesus. Give me my fake steak. Agent Smith loved Neo so much he wanted to become him. Oh, what time is it? It's 9 o'clock. But what did "This Is America" mean? How about the Dumbledore is gay thing? What's your take on that? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I have issue with retconning by authors. Look, for those of you that aren't writers, right? Retroactive continuity is what retconning actually means. And it means adjusting the story after the fact. So some shit happened, and then you do some other stuff, and then you do some more stuff, and in that stuff you say, oh no, what actually happened in that first part was this. Right? Even though that first part happened. You're like, oh no, but actually what happened was this. That's retconning, right? I have an issue with retconning. When you're doing tabletop storytelling, like Fate Core RPG, retconning happens because it's a necessary due to the dynamics of storytelling. But if you're crafting a story, beginning, middle, and end, and you're in charge of the creation of that story, retconning annoys the fuck out of me. It's lazy. It's shitty writing. It means that you had a bunch of problems that you didn't realize existed, and then you attempted to fix them after the fact. It irritates me on a base level as like an author, right? As a writer. I don't do novels, I'm an essayist, but it bothers me. And that's how you end up with some Harry Potter fucking turf shit happening too. Right? Like she goes back and just constantly retcons everything. Well, actually shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Stop retconning your story into obscurity at this point. Oh, don't forget the Judas moment in The Matrix 2. It's pretty Cyber Jeebus. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if it mattered to the narrative, it would have been integrated in the story to begin with. 100%. It would have been there. If it mattered at all, it would have been a part of it. Otherwise, Dumbledore's sexuality is nebulous at best. 12. I managed to shed because of the fucking that one. I enjoyed. Now, see, Sense8, I actually think far more encompasses what the Wachowski sisters were saying about their work. If they made that argument about Sense8, I'd be like, of course it is. Of course it is. The allegory is there right out of the gate. Like, it's clear for anybody to see. The Matrix, I have an argument over. Yeah. Sense8, though, and by the way, I wish it had gotten a proper run. I really enjoyed it. It took a while to warm up, but once they hit their stride, dude, that was fun. Personally, I think they were just vacationing around the globe on Netflix's budget, but it happens. Karina, if it's intentional, then it's not retconning. But that's the thing. You can tell the difference. Catch you later, story. Yeah, fuck J.K. Rowling and her shitty stories. I don't know why anyone likes them. Ignore my name. Yeah, I just, it annoys me at a base level. And everybody who creates in some realm, form, or fashion has these pet peeves. Retconning is one of mine. It's like Deus Ex Machina, right? It's a very powerful writer's tool. But if you overuse it, it just smacks of lazy writing. And so, you know, I'm sure musicians have these pet peeves as well, as do anybody who works within certain creative endeavors. Comic books retcon shit all the time is how you end up with super convoluted lore. Yeah, that's the birth of the multiverse, basically, is because they need to explain half the shit. That, oh, well, that's just a different dimension. Don't worry about it. Good job, guys. Let's see. One sec here. Is he just... Oh, rock on. Alright, cool. And that's why Star Wars communism doesn't work. Alright. Star Trek. Oh, yeah, dude. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. I need to get some calories in me. I need to get some food in me. This is a thing I need to get done. So forgive me. But we're gonna raid over to the cops. Oh, well, hopefully, maybe I'll get some fucking sleep. We shall see. But tomorrow's training and bunch of stuff. Patronum. If you think you're ready, and can handle it, you do you. Karina, we will see about the Sea of Thieves here. I'm probably gonna have to rock a controller. But Patronum, know thyself. Contact me on Discord if you need more advice and you want to ask or talk about it further. I'll see y'all tomorrow.